This happened many years ago, but I remember it with unsettling clarity. I've never liked camping. Not even a little. I don't enjoy dirt under my nails, bugs crawling where they don't belong, or waking up stiff and sore after a night spent on what feels like a rock disguised as a sleeping bag. Unfortunately, my opinion never mattered when I was a kid. My dad was one of those rugged, outdoors-only types. The kind of man who believed technology weakened you, and that the woods were some kind of cure-all for modern life. Every summer, without fail, he dragged me into the wilderness with a group of his equally outdoorsy friends. I hated every second of it. By the time I reached my sophomore year of high school, I'd had enough. I finally worked up the nerve to ask him if I could bring a friend along, hoping it would make the experience more tolerable. To my surprise, he agreed. That's how Charles ended up coming with us. Charles was the opposite of me. Former Boy Scout. Loved the outdoors. Could tie knots I didn't even know had names. I assumed bringing him would only highlight how much I hated camping, but Charles was chill about it. He teased me, sure, but never in a condescending way. At least, not at first. The trip started off wrong immediately. One of my dad's friends had messed up the campsite reservation. Instead of some quiet, remote forest location, we arrived at what was essentially a glorified park. Paved walkways, indoor bathrooms, even a playground. And the worst part? Right next to the campsite was a full-blown amusement park. A Ferris wheel, roller coasters, carnival booths. It felt wrong, like two realities colliding that were never meant to coexist. Camping and amusement parks shouldn't exist side by side. Everyone was furious. My dad sulked. His friends complained nonstop. Charles wouldn't shut up about how this wasn't real camping, making jokes at my family's expense until I finally snapped and told him to knock it off. We were stuck there, hours from home. So we set up camp and tried to make the best of it. Charles handled the tent like a professional. Perfect knots. Tight stakes. Even my dad nodded in approval, and that annoyed me more than it should have. That night, Charles and I snuck off into the woods with a small metal pipe and some weed he'd hidden in an Altoids tin. We were teenagers, rebellious, careless, eager to feel dangerous. We laughed quietly, feeling invincible. Later, wide awake and restless, Charles grinned at me. "Let's explore," he said. He didn't mean the campsite. He meant the amusement park. After midnight, we grabbed flashlights and climbed the fence with ease. Inside, the park felt abandoned. Dark rides looming like skeletal giants. Security guards patrolled in golf carts, their headlights sweeping across empty paths. We crept through shadows, ducking behind buildings, hearts pounding. It felt like a game, until it didn't. We reached a roller coaster and climbed the maintenance stairs to the top. No railings. Just empty air beneath us. The view was unreal and terrifying. We took one photo and decided to leave. On the way back, hiding behind a snack shack to avoid a guard, I noticed movement. Another person, about 30 feet away, crouching, watching us. Then he moved. He ran through a pool of lamplight, and I saw him clearly. A man, disheveled, shirt torn, blood smeared across his face. His posture was wrong, like he was injured or twisted. Charles saw it too. We didn't speak. When the guard passed, we ran. The next morning, park staff announced that a man had been stabbed and killed at a lake 4 miles away. The suspect was still at large, disheveled, shirtless, possibly bleeding. We said nothing. To this day, I regret it, because that night, we were feet away from a murderer. Story 2. The Clown at 96th Street. This happened in October of 2016, right in the middle of the infamous clown hysteria. I was 16, a junior in high school. It was a normal Wednesday. I got on the train after 7th period, headphones blasting music, chemistry flashcards glowing on my phone screen. The train was mostly empty. I planned to get off at 96th Street. I barely looked up when the doors opened. Something was blocking the exit. A clown. Full costume. Oversized pants. Yellow shirt. Red suspenders. White face paint smeared thick. No wig. He stood directly in the doorway. Not moving. Not speaking. I tried to step around him. The moment I touched him, he leaned down, too fast, bringing his face inches from mine. I ran. He lunged after me. I sprinted through the station, heart hammering. I glanced back. He was chasing me. And he was holding a knife. I ran up the stairs and out into the street, screaming for help. The police came, but he was gone. I never saw him again. But for weeks, I couldn't shake the feeling that he knew my face. That he'd remember me. Story 3. The pool that was never meant to close. 2 years after college, I was desperate for work. That's when I found the listing. Private lifeguard. Night shift. $30 an hour. The hours were strange. The requirements stranger. They specifically wanted someone who didn't speak Spanish. I spoke Spanish fluently. I applied anyway. The interview was off. One man greeted me warmly. Another tested me, speaking Spanish, watching my reaction. When I didn't respond, they laughed like it was a joke. My duties were simple. Watch the pool. Collect money. Call Heath if there was trouble. And one more thing. If someone showed me a blue wristband, I was to let them into the pool house behind the lifeguard stand. No questions. The first few weeks were quiet. Then the blue wristband started appearing. And the pool house lights stayed on long after 1 a.m. I never saw what happened inside. But I heard things. Heavy splashes. Muffled voices. Screams, quickly silenced. One night, someone tried to leave through the pool house door. They didn't have a wristband. Heath appeared immediately. Dragged them back inside. The next day, I quit. The pool shut down weeks later. The building was demolished. But sometimes, I still dream of water churning in the dark. Final thoughts. Some places aren't haunted by ghosts. They're haunted by people. And sometimes, the scariest thing isn't what you see. It's what you choose not to say.